Hi everybody, in case there are some people here that don't know me, I am the Mike of Val and Mike's Auto Service, and we have our shop over here in Huntington Beach, and I'm going to try to clear up a couple of things today. People wonder like how we got into the business, you know, and how a girl like Val could end up with a guy like me. I'm going to touch on that. So how it all started was, I graduated from high school, went to Costa Mesa High School. I was a football player, and I decided I wanted to play football at Orange Coast College. You know, I didn't know you had to be a student also, but and I signed up for the classes, and I played football, and everything was wonderful with football, but the whole scholastic part of it kind of fell apart. So I was languishing around my house doing nothing, and my mom was really getting kind of worried about me. So we had a friend whose father owned a Shell gas station. John Brady was his name. So she told Brady one day, "You get Mike a job at your dad's gas station, I'll buy you a case of beer." So that's how it all got started. I went to talk to his dad. I'd known his dad for years. Brady got his case of beer, I got the job, and I had told the boss, I had a plan that I was going to go back to school and pass the gazillion units I had to pass to be eligible for football again. I had this big plan. And as I started working there, I kind of caught on automotively, and the head mechanic started taking me under his wing, and then I realized that I was a horrible student and a mediocre football player, so I needed to learn to be something. So I just hung in there and, you know, learned stuff, went to school, got a smog license, all the kind of stuff. And then I worked there a little bit, and then one day I got this party. A friend of mine was turning 21. So we're going to this party, and, you know, it was kind of the weird thing. In those days, you didn't have a girlfriend. You didn't kind of like to go to parties like that because, you know, every guy there had his girlfriend with him. So I didn't really plan on anything big happening. But I went in there, and there she was, this beautiful girl, 19-year-old Val. So she started talking to me, and she asked me what I did, and I told her I was in oil. Because realistically, I was in oil up to my elbow. But then she figured it out, and she said, "Oh, you're a mechanic." And then I had another friend with me, Rick, who was talking to her too, and you know, she liked me better. Rick just recently retired as some kind of millionaire ex-plumber. So I don't like to tell her that, you know, so don't let her know. But anyway, so then a couple years go by, you know, I'm still working in auto mechanic, and we get married. And then 22 years pass of working, you know, raising our kids and working different jobs here and there. And, you know, my job was always in big demand, so when I didn't like one, I'd just quit. And I'd come home and tell her I quit. And she'd go, "Well, what are we going to do?" I said, I'll just get another job. Because, you know, it's one of those things where there's always was less, more jobs than there were guys to fill them. So it was never a big problem. But I worked for this guy who was a big jerk, and he wanted me to work for less money after about 5 years, and I told him, no way. So I left, and I told her I just quit. And she said, well, and we had kind of touched on all this business stuff, you know, over the years. So finally we decided we're going to open up this business. You know. Luckily, she had a really good job. So we did it, and if you ever wanted to write a book on how to not open a business and all the mistakes anybody could possibly make, we did it. And one of the problems was it grew kind of fast, and it outgrew our ability to keep track of everything. So we went along, and finally she decided, and we decided, that she was going to quit her job, and we were going to be in there together. And that was probably 18 years ago at least. So we've been working side by side for 18 years. So that's how that whole auto thing started. And, you know, the question comes up on what do you do? We're just a general auto repair shop. We do anything from change oil to change engines and everything in between. We've always done that. This is something we do. And lately, you know, now that we got into the smog program, we can smog any cars from 2000 and newer, and we're trying to get into the STAR program. You know, when you get your smog certificate, sometimes it says you got to go to a STAR thing. We're working on that. Luckily, the Bureau of Auto Repair, I figured it would take like 3 years, you know, and the guy called back the next day because we filled out the form wrong. So somehow or another, they maybe want us to do it. So anyway, so then we just do that. We do all those things. The check engine light is it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of our business now, because as cars get more technical, the check engine light has more reasons to come on. You know, more things are monitored by the computer, so then our smog program, the new smog program, is geared towards the check engine light and computer codes. There's no tailpipe emissions on the tests we do. As I touched on, you know, we are in Huntington Beach. We've been in business now 22 years, so this is the longest job I've ever had. So must suit us somehow or another. We've been.
You must like the boss.
The boss is well, at least. You know what's funny? People ask me sometimes, "Do you guys argue a lot?" And I said, well, if you define arguing as an exchange of ideas, no. If you define arguing as she's yelling at me and I'm nodding my head, well then, yeah, you're probably. So I think maybe that's how we kind of work it is, you know, there was an old song, I forget who sang it, who navigates and who steers. You know, as long as you can kind of fall into that realm and move along. And I always joke that, you know, I'm like maybe third in command or something until we have an angry customer, and then I get a field promotion, like, you know, like the guy who's a private and the machine gun nest is up there, and you know, if you want to be a lieutenant, you know, I'm in, you know, and then after a while I get back down to buck private. But I'm ready at any time to take on anything that comes up. We're also AAA approved. I don't know. AAA is, you know, my big joke is if you're a real bad drunk, you have AAA. You know, AA won't work. But they're a very good organization. They're a little rough on us, but as far as being a member and them taking care of people, they are spectacular. And the hoops they make us jump through are incredible. So anytime you're anywhere, and if you need an auto repair shop, look for a AAA shop, because they are under the microscope. So if you can find one of those somewhere, you're probably going to be okay. Any questions about auto repair, marriage? Yes, sir.
So what's the furthest you'll drive somebody home?
The furthest we will drive somebody home?
Yeah, because that's what they do. That's the thing about Mike's Auto.
How far have we gone, Val? Anaheim?
Oh, I've gone far.
Yeah.
I've gone all the way down to San Diego.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Seriously?
She was there for the weekend for some reason. I didn't get that one.
You need Uber on speed dial.
No, but we'll go just about, it just depends, you know. But we've gone pretty far.
That was before Uber.
We've gone pretty far, you know, and we've, just the other day I drove somebody to Santa Ana, and, you know, I thought there was something really wrong with the car, and actually just needed an oil change, and it was done by the time I got back. So that was kind of a wasted trip. At least, you know, I don't mind a road trip once in a while anyway. You know, get out in the world and drive around. It's not bad. Any other question? Anything else? Auto repair, because realistically, I act like I know a lot about other things, but I consider myself an automotive savant, really. That's the only thing I really know anything about. So if you ever have an automotive question or friends with an automotive question, yes, ma'am.
How often should you really change your oil?
Nowadays, 5,000 miles, you know. But the reason we put 3 is so people start to think about it. You know? That's the thing. And nobody, you know, most people don't hang a U-turn at 3,000 miles and come into the shop and get. And realistically, you can go. Most cars nowadays, you can go to 5, or, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing about oil is changing oil. If you changed it once a month, you're not going to hurt anything. It's just not cost effective. You know, it's like I tell people, you could rotate your tires once a week and they would last a lot longer, but it's kind of stupid, but impractical. But most cars now, and a lot of cars now are taking synthetic oil, so it's more like 6,000 or 7,000 miles, and that sort of thing. Yes, ma'am.
Mike, do you sell tires at all?
Yeah, we do. We got into we're not really big in the tire business, but one of those things you do to keep your customers out of other people's shops. It's another reason why Val doesn't have a diamond ring. That's a $10,000 deal to buy all the stuff to mountain tires. So I had a joke one time. We went to my high school reunion, and I told her to put all our scan tools around your neck and wear it like a necklace, and that would be like a $30,000 necklace. Yeah, I would have been impressed by it. I don't think anybody else.
She didn't take you up on it, right?
No, she didn't. So if we don't have any other questions, you could always ask me later if you think of something. Well, thank you very much. I was glad to come here and speak to everybody. I love talking. It's one of my hobbies. I can be hired out for speeches or bar mitzvahs. I can do 20 minutes.